Today, I'm going to be talking about the 5 mistakes that new courier businesses make. Without further ado, let's get into this. My name's Tommy. I started and founded Tommy Courier Services. I also run a training program where I show people just like you how to get started as a courier and how to make as much money as possible in the courier industry. But enough about me. Let's get into the 5 mistakes that new courier businesses make when starting out in the courier industry. So mistake number 1 that I see a lot of people make is they spend too much money. And what I mean by this is that when they're getting started out, they think, right, I need a fancy website. I need to get myself a brand new van. I need to get the best insurance I possibly can. I need all these extra add-ons. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to employ an admin team. And no, you don't need to do that. All you need is a set of wheels, some insurance, and go out there and start making money. This is one thing I noticed, that this isn't even just the courier industry. This is business in general. What people like to do is they think, I need a fancy office, I need to have this fancy website and all of this stuff, which doesn't make sense. The point of a business is to make money. It's money in, not money out. And when you're spending all this money, sending money out of your bank account, what does that mean? That means 1, you've got less to invest in the important things, and 2, you've got no money coming in. If these things don't directly create income and create revenue for your business, then don't do them at the beginning. You can do them at a later date. You can get a fancy van, a fancy office, a new laptop, and all of this kind of stuff. But when you're starting out, it's called bootstrapping. You want to use what you've got to make the money and then reinvest your profits to upgrade and make more money. You don't need all the fancy stuff at the beginning. So spending too much money is one of the mistakes I see a lot of people making. I'm talking most people. They make this mistake. Is they get this image of, I've now got my own business, so that means I need a website. And no. Strip it right back. What are the things that you need and what are the things that you want or that you think make your business look pretty? Forget the pretty. Get down to business. I need a van. I need some equipment. I need a phone, I need insurance, and I need customers. That's all you need at the beginning. When you start making money, then get the website. But at the beginning, no, you don't need it. You need to make money. You need money in, not money out. So spending too much money is the number 1 mistake I see people make. Let's get on to number 2. So the second mistake that I see people make, this is actually the opposite of the point I was just talking about, but it's not spending enough money. So you get some people that come in that will spend all this money and waste money on websites and this and that. But then you'll get some people that come in and they don't actually spend enough money. What does this mean? So this means that instead of getting themselves a van that maybe be £8,000, which will keep them going, they'll try and cut corners and they'll pick up a van for £600 and then it will break down. And what it means when you don't spend enough money, it means that problems are going to occur. And you can, by all means, if you want to deal with the problems later down the line, be my guest. But me personally, there's always a saying, you spend cheap, you buy twice. And it's very, very true. You want something where it's reliable, but also not a ridiculous price. You don't want to spend £40,000 on your first van. You need to make money first. Maybe spend 5. Spend something which makes sense on your first van if you're buying it cash. That is, of course. But spending not enough money is another mistake I see people make. Or, for instance, I get people approach me and they say, look, I really want to get into the courier industry, but your mentorship program for £375 is too much. Well, how do you ever expect to succeed if you're not going to get the right knowledge and the right information? And this is what I mean when I'm talking about not spending enough. Is they don't even want to invest in their own education, then you're never going to make serious money in the courier industry. It's just not possible if you're not even willing to put £300, which is very, very small compared to the amount of money you can make. £300, that's for a beginner, a day's income. £300, one day. One day, you can make that in one day, and you don't even want to invest that into get in the knowledge, the education, our subcontractor database, access to our group chat, to network with other people, our industry contacts, all of this. You could save that £375 purely on the insurance brokers that we give you access to and that we connect you with. You could save that on your insurance, the £375. It doesn't make sense. So spending not enough money is another mistake I see people make, trying to cut corners and try and do it as cheap as possible. There's a happy medium. Okay. Don't spend too much. Don't go crazy. But then also don't be a cheapskate. You want what you need and just what you need. Okay. But you want it at a basic level, but a level that is going to be sustainable and going to look after you for the long run until you upgrade. The third mistake that I see a lot of people making is not having a brand. So people will start their courier business and they will literally be called Mark Smith the Courier. Who is Mark Smith? I'm sorry, Mark, if you're watching. I don't know who you are. This is not a personal attack. It's just a name that comes to my head. Mark Smith. He's got no brand. You Google Mark Smith, there's going to be 50,000 results, maybe even more. I don't know. But Mark Smith, the courier, he's got no brand. Whereas if you call yourself Direct Couriers ASAP or the courier company for you or Tommy Courier Services, and you have a logo, you have a website, you have a little bit of brand about you, then people can associate your company with your brand, which means the more they see you, the more they trust you, the more they're familiar with you, the more likely they are to spend money with you. If you turn up to deliveries every day and they say, oh, what's the name of your company? Oh, Mark Smith. That's not a company. That's you. That's who you are. You need a brand. You need to brand your business. Your business is different from you. You work in or on your business, but your business is a completely different person. Your business is your business and you are you. Don't merge the two together. The only way and time that you can do this is like what I done. Tommy Courier Services. My name is Tommy and I run a courier service. Tommy Courier Services. But then when people talk about my business, they don't say Tommy and my surname. They say Tommy Courier Services. When they talk to me, they call me Tommy or my full name, Tommy, blah, blah, blah. You know, you get the point. So that's how you want to brand. You want to brand yourself. Get a logo. You can get someone on Fiverr to create a logo for you for £15, £20. Get a hoodie, stick your name on it. Tommy Courier Services. There we go. Job done. You've now got a brand. Now, every delivery you go to, you wear this hoodie and it says Mark Couriers Direct. Mark, whatever you want to do. Courier Direct ASAP. A to B Couriers. Any of these kind of names. You can pluck one out of thin air. Doesn't matter. The name is not important. What is important is that you have a brand. That's what's important. So make sure you have a brand when you get started. Mistake number 4 I see people making is they don't network. People will come in this game and be like, yeah, I'm just going to focus on making money the whole time. Okay, but what contacts do you have? You don't know anyone in the business. Network with people. Go to events. Join groups. Pay for online mentorships where there's other people in the mentorship that you can learn from, like something we provide in our training program where you get access to our group chat with loads of other drivers who are getting their own customers who maybe need a driver in your area one day. But if you're not in these network groups, then how do you expect to succeed? You know, it's all about who you have around you. If it's just you and your van, yeah, you might make, £700 a week, £1,000 a week, £5,000 a month. But if you really want to get to the big numbers, I'm talking 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 20, 25 grand a month within the logistics industry, you need to have a solid network. It's like in any business. Any business that you go into, you need a network. It's very, very important, very important. And like I said, we have a network within our mentorship program, Become a Courier. Within that, we have a network support group where we've got everyone that's joined our mentorship program. They're all in there together, all talking every single day, saying, I just found this customer. I've just got this customer. Anyone in this area who's got a van, and they're all networking and they all know each other because they've all become friends because they've put the time and the effort into investing in themselves to get the education, the access and the mentorship, but also to network and make friends with other people who are in the industry who can help them and they elevate and pull each other up together. So having a strong network is very, very important. And the last and final step, number 5, the 5th mistake that I see people making a lot is settling for less than they're worth. So I see a lot of people coming in and they will price up a job for a customer and they'll tell the customer £220 for that job. And the customer will say, can you do it for 160? And they say, yeah, okay, I'll do it. You've just lost, what's that, £60 off the job. You've lost £60 that could be in your own pocket just because you're scared of turning down a job and saying, no, there's not enough money on the job. I'm not taking it. This is one of the mistakes I see people make. They settle for less than they're worth. If you wanted to make what you made in your day job, then you should have just stayed in your day job. But if you started your courier business to make more money, then make more money. It's that simple. Don't be scared to ever turn down a job because it doesn't pay enough. Because guess what? When you do this, two things are going to happen. One, people see you as more serious because now they know, he's not going to take cheap deliveries. And two, it makes your brand look a lot better because you're not taking cheap deliveries. People now value your service more, which means they're more likely to come back. A Rolls Royce is priced a lot more than a Toyota for a reason, because there's a higher barrier to entry because people value the Rolls Royce more. So if you had £1 million in your bank and you could choose between a Rolls Royce or a Toyota, what would you pick? A Rolls Royce, because it might cost more, but you're not looking at how much it costs. You're looking at the value that you get from it. And this is the exact same thing that happens when you turn down jobs that are too cheap. People will be like, okay, he actually values his time. He obviously delivers a good service. And as long as you deliver a good service, then it's fine. And don't ever try and price match. This is another thing. People will, especially when they're working on platforms like CX, you'll ring up a company and say, hey, I see you posted this job. I can do it for £200. They say, oh yeah, I've got someone that could do it for £120. The first thing I say in that situation is, okay, no worries. I don't say, oh yeah, I'll match it. No, I won't match it. My price was my price. That's his price. That's how much his business values their time and their fuel and that not. My business values ours a lot more. Fine. My business makes more money. That's why. Because I don't undersell myself. So don't ever do that, guys. Trust me. That's the number one thing I would say. Know what you're worth. Don't be afraid to turn down a job. And if that means that you have to sit at home all day for one day, fine, so be it. Sit at home. But what you then do is you make use of that time. You sit on the phone, you ring up people. You drive in some more customers, some more contracts that are willing to pay you what your rate is. It's better to spend one day at home ringing up customers to get more contracts than it is to go out, make £150 in a day, maybe for 3 days. What's that? £450 in 3 days. Or you could have had 3 days at home, ringing up people, trying to get customers, and then you get one contract, which is going to pay you £500 a day. Now you've made £1,500 in 3 days, as opposed to £450. So know your worth, know your value, and don't ever, ever, ever take a job just because you want a job, if it's under what you think that job should be paying. So that's the 5 mistakes that I see people making the most when they're getting started in the courier business. Hopefully it kind of gave you guys a few little pointers in the right direction. Hopefully you took some value from this. If you did, then like, subscribe, whatever people say nowadays on YouTube. I don't know. But take care of yourself, guys. If you want information, you can drop me a DM on Instagram or TikTok. You'll find the links in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. You could also get our cheat sheet. That will be linked down here below. And also access to our full mentorship program, like I previously mentioned, where you can get access to the network as well. That will be linked in the description. If you're already in the mentorship program, then hello. But if not, you want some more information, you can DM me, TikTok, Instagram, get our cheat sheet, get our mentorship program. But either way, I wish you guys success in the courier business. Look after yourself, take care, and I look forward to speaking to you guys again soon. Goodbye.